The Soviet program that controlled everything you heard **** during the Cold War, the Soviet Union built one of the most controlled information systems in the world. Newspapers were monitored. Television was regulated. Radio broadcasts were carefully managed. But there was another layer of communication that operated quietly in the background. A system that most people never fully understood. And one signal that became impossible to ignore. It was first noticed in the late 1970s. A strange, repetitive sound. Broadcast on a shortwave frequency. It did not carry music. It did not carry news. It was just a constant noise. A buzzing sound. Repeating over and over again. Day after day. Year after year. Listeners across Europe and beyond began to notice it. Radio enthusiasts gave it a nickname. The buzzer. The signal could be heard almost continuously. Sometimes interrupted by brief voice transmissions. But mostly, it remained unchanged. A mechanical tone. Predictable. Persistent. And unexplained. At first, it seemed insignificant. Just another strange radio signal. But over time, it became something more. Because it never stopped. Decades passed. And the signal continued. This raised a question. Why would a signal be broadcast continuously for so long? What purpose could it serve? One of the most widely discussed explanations is that it was part of a military communication system. A system designed not to transmit messages, but to maintain a channel. In such systems, a constant signal indicates that everything is operating normally. If the signal stops, that means something has changed. Something important. This type of system is sometimes referred to as a dead hand mechanism. A way to ensure communication even under extreme conditions. While there is no official confirmation, many experts believe that the signal was linked to military infrastructure. Possibly connected to command systems. Possibly to alert networks. But the exact purpose has never been fully explained. The location of the signal added to the mystery. It was traced to a military installation near Moscow. A place that was not open to the public. A place that appeared on no tourist maps. For years, the facility remained active. Then, in the early 2000s, something changed. The signal briefly stopped. For the first time in decades. This caused immediate attention. Listeners noticed the silence. Speculation increased. Had the system been shut down? Had something happened? But then, the signal returned. As if nothing had changed. Later, reports suggested that the original location had been abandoned. Photographs appeared online. Showing empty buildings. Broken equipment. Documents left behind. Signs of a place that had once been operational. But no longer was. However, the signal itself did not disappear. It continued. Which suggested something important. The system had moved. Relocated. Adapted. This reinforced the idea that the signal was part of something larger. Not just a single transmitter. But a network. A system designed to function over time. Independent of location. Over the years, the signal occasionally changed. Sometimes the pattern would shift. Sometimes voices would appear. Short phrases. Names. Numbers. Then silence. Then the buzzing would return. These interruptions only added to the mystery. They suggested that the system was active. That it was being used. Even if its purpose remained unclear. The Cold War ended. The Soviet Union dissolved. Many systems were shut down. Others were restructured. But this signal continued, which made it even more unusual. It was no longer tied to the system that created it. Yet it remained. Still broadcasting. Still repeating. Still unexplained. For some, it became a symbol of continuity. Of systems that outlast the structures they were built for. For others, it remained a technical curiosity. A piece of communication infrastructure with a specific function. But even today, there is no single confirmed explanation. Only theories. Only analysis. Only fragments of information. What is clear is this: the signal was not random. It required power, maintenance, coordination. It existed for a reason. And that reason was important enough to sustain it for decades. This case reveals something deeper about the Soviet approach to systems. They were designed not just for immediate use, but for endurance, for reliability, for scenarios that might never happen, but had to be prepared for. And in that context, a constant signal makes sense. A simple indicator that everything is still functioning, that the system is still alive, until it isn't. Because in such systems, silence is not just silence. It is a message. And that message could mean everything. That is what made this signal different. Not the sound itself, but what it represented. A system that was always on, always ready, and never fully explained. Even now.